aims to wear down our spirit, diminish our joy, affect our health, and compromise our sense of self. This is not weakness, but a sign that we need a change. Imagine being in a relationship without respect, a job that drains your energy without offering satisfaction, or perhaps feeling trapped in a cycle of obligations that exhaust you. Today, we will explore 12 crucial moments where walking away is not just an option, but an act of courage and self-respect, inspired by Stoic philosophy. Now, if you are new here, please like the video and subscribe. Statistics show that only 15% of my audience is subscribed to the channel, so if this content has helped you in any way, I ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Now let's start this transformative journey together. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus taught us to focus on what we can control, our actions and decisions, without being dominated by external circumstances. This perspective is vital when considering stepping away from harmful situations. We may feel trapped in relationships where respect has disappeared, jobs that no longer fulfill us, or living up to expectations that do not align with our personal values. Chronic stress and anxiety are clear signs that a change is needed. Walking away is not selfishness, but a form of self-preservation and deep respect for oneself, recognizing our own needs and limits. From a Stoic perspective, this is an act of wisdom and courage. Throughout this video, we will analyze specific scenarios where it is advisable to withdraw to foster deep personal growth and a life aligned with your true values. I invite you to reflect on the areas of your life where you might be staying out of fear or inertia, and consider how the act of walking away can be a powerful step toward your well-being and true values. Number 1. When you're no longer respected. In our lives, we often face situations where the respect we expect in our relationships, both personal and professional, begins to fade. You might start to notice that your ideas are dismissed in meetings, your partner constantly interrupts you, or your friends ignore the boundaries you have set. These acts, which may seem small or insignificant, accumulate over time, eroding your self-esteem and making you feel invisible. It is like standing on an unstable foundation that could collapse at any moment. Such interactions can leave you questioning your worth and endanger your mental well-being. Imagine going to work every day in a place where your contributions are ignored, or worse, someone else takes credit for your efforts. This is not just a blow to your professional pride, it is a clear sign that you are not valued in that environment. The same applies to personal relationships. When people who should support and value you do not, it is not just painful, it is toxic. From the Stoic perspective, we are reminded that our self-worth should not be dictated by the opinions or actions of others. However, maintaining this mindset is undoubtedly difficult when you find yourself surrounded by disrespect. Here is where Stoic philosophy can guide us. It teaches us to focus on what we can control, our own actions and reactions. We cannot control how others treat us, but we can make the conscious decision to walk away from environments that do not respect us. Walking away is not about giving up, but about reclaiming your dignity and self-esteem. By deciding to leave a toxic environment, you are protecting your mental and emotional well-being and setting a powerful precedent for your future interactions. You are telling yourself and the world that you will not tolerate disrespect. This is not an easy decision. It requires great strength and self-awareness. However, by doing so, you create space in your life for relationships and opportunities that align with your values and uplift you. But how can this be practiced in daily life? Consider some practical examples of people who have decided to walk away from toxic environments. Some have left jobs where they did not feel valued, finding new opportunities that better aligned with their skills and passions. Others have ended relationships that were harmful, discovering over time that this decision allowed them to build more meaningful and respectful connections. Additionally, it is crucial to develop and maintain firm boundaries, not only as a way to foster respect, but also to protect yourself from future transgressions. You can establish these boundaries by clearly and respectfully communicating your expectations to others and standing firm when these expectations are ignored. Another effective strategy to cultivate an environment of respect is practicing empathy and effective communication. This involves striving to understand others' perspectives and expressing your thoughts and feelings in ways that foster mutual understanding. Ensuring that respect is reciprocal in all your interactions can profoundly transform the quality of your relationships. Every moment you spend in a place where you are not respected is a moment stolen from your capacity to find and build a life where you are valued and appreciated. It is not just about leaving behind negativity, it is about opening doors to positive and respectful environments. This act of walking away is a profound step toward personal growth and empowerment. Respect is non-negotiable. It is the foundation of every meaningful interaction. Therefore, when you find yourself in a situation where respect is lacking, remember the wisdom of the Stoics. Focus on what you can control and have the courage to walk away. Your self-respect and inner peace are worth more than staying in an environment that diminishes you. Number 2. When you are taken for granted. We have all been there, giving our all in a situation and feeling like our efforts are barely noticed, much less appreciated. Whether at work, in a friendship, or within the family, being taken for granted is an incredibly frustrating experience. Imagine putting in countless extra hours at work, going out of your way to help a friend, or constantly supporting your loved ones, only to find that your efforts are met with indifference or expected as a given. This lack of recognition can be exhausting and leave you feeling completely drained. When your hard work and dedication go unnoticed, it is a clear sign that something needs to change. In the workplace, this might look like consistently putting in extra effort without receiving a simple thank you or acknowledgement from your boss. Your contributions become expected rather than valued, and soon you may find yourself burning out. In personal relationships, being taken for granted can be even more painful. Imagine always being the one to plan outings, offer support, or make sacrifices, only for these gestures to go unrecognized. Over time, this imbalance can lead to resentment and a feeling of emptiness. You might begin to wonder why you are putting in so much effort when it is not reciprocated or appreciated. This is not a matter of constantly seeking praise, but of mutual respect and acknowledgement. Walking away from situations where you are taken for granted is a powerful act of self-respect. It is not about being selfish, but about understanding your own worth and refusing to accept less than you deserve. The Stoic approach teaches us to focus on our own virtues and actions rather than seeking validation from others. However, it is important to recognize when an environment is persistently ungrateful, as this can lead to long-term dissatisfaction and erosion of self-worth. By stepping back from environments where your efforts are undervalued, you make space for opportunities and relationships that genuinely recognize and appreciate your contributions. This decision can be difficult. There is often a fear of the unknown. What if you leave and do not find a better job or lose a friend? However, staying in a place where you are not valued can be far more damaging in the long run. It is a slow erosion of your self-esteem and happiness. The Stoics would advise acting according to our principles and values, even if it means making difficult decisions. Prioritize your well-being and personal growth over the comfort of the familiar. Imagine redirecting your energy toward people and places that genuinely value you. This change not only boosts your morale, but also aligns your life with principles of mutual respect and appreciation. It is about creating a balanced dynamic where your efforts are recognized and rewarded. This balance is crucial for maintaining healthy relationships and a positive self-image. By walking away from being taken for granted, you set a standard for how you expect to be treated. It is a declaration of your self-worth and a step towards a more fulfilling life. You deserve to be in environments where your efforts are recognized and valued. Remember, as the Stoics teach us, your worth is inherent and should not depend on others' recognition. Stand firm in this belief and do not be afraid to move on from those who do not appreciate what you bring. Adopting this stance not only benefits you, but can also teach others the value of respect and recognition, fostering a positive cycle of mutual gratitude and appreciation in all your circles. Number 3. When it affects your physical or mental health. Health, both mental and physical, is the foundation upon which our entire life is built. When situations of stress, constant pressure, or toxic environments start to impact this foundation, it is crucial to recognize the warning signs before they become chronic problems. We often face these challenges thinking they are just part of life. However, when stress and anxiety become constants, they transform into red flags that we must not ignore. Consider, for example, a job that demands more than you can give in a healthy manner. Long hours, constant pressure, and a toxic work environment can lead to serious issues like burnout, chronic stress, and even more severe health problems like insomnia or hypertension. It is essential to listen to our bodies and minds when they warn us of these dangers. Ignoring these signals and continuing to push our limits can lead to significant deterioration of our health, both mentally and physically. In personal relationships, the consequences of a harmful environment can be equally severe. Constant conflict, neglect, or emotional abuse can erode our mental health, leading to states of anxiety and depression. These toxic environments can make us feel trapped with no way out, which is a clear sign that we need to make changes to protect our well-being. Stoic philosophy teaches us the importance of maintaining balance and moderation. Overstepping our limits is a clear violation of these principles. The Stoics deeply valued internal peace and advised avoiding those who disturb our tranquility. Therefore, walking away from a harmful relationship is not a sign of failure, but a brave step towards protecting our mental health and reclaiming our peace. It is equally important to respect our physical limits. Maybe you are participating in an activity that your body can no longer handle or maintaining habits that are slowly wearing you down. Listening to our bodies and making adjustments is crucial to avoid long-term damage. Living in harmony with our nature includes taking care of our physical body as part of our natural existence. Now, let us think about how we can prioritize our health to avoid reaching these extremes. Small changes in our daily lives, such as improving our diet, increasing physical activity, and seeking professional support when necessary, can have a significant impact on our health. These steps not only help us stay healthy, but also strengthen our resilience in facing life's challenges. Creating and fostering a supportive environment is another key strategy, whether at home or work. Promoting an atmosphere where health and growth are priorities can make a big difference. Supporting each other in our efforts to maintain good health not only improves individual quality of life, but also strengthens our community. These practices are not just preventive measures, they are essential for a full and meaningful life. By prioritizing our mental and physical health and making necessary adjustments in our lives, we are not only acting wisely, but also deeply respecting our own nature. This is fundamental in the Stoic pursuit of a virtuous and satisfying life. Always remember that your health is not something to be compromised. It is the foundation of your ability to live a complete and meaningful life. Recognizing when a situation is harming your well-being and having the courage to walk away is a powerful form of self-care and wisdom. The Stoics remind us that true strength lies in our ability to maintain internal peace and harmony. So, prioritize your health, make the necessary changes, and remember that walking away from what harms you is a powerful act of self-care and wisdom. Number 4. When your values are compromised. When your core values, those principles that define who you are and what you stand for, are compromised, you face a profound dilemma. This can happen in the workplace, where you may be asked to act unethically, or in personal relationships where you are pressured to behave in ways that contradict your beliefs. This internal conflict not only makes you feel uncomfortable, but also leads you to lose touch with your true self. Imagine the internal dissonance that arises when your actions do not reflect your values. This is not just a temporary discomfort. It is a sign that you are living in contradiction to your essence, which can lead to deep and persistent dissatisfaction. In the workplace, compromising your values for the sake of employment means that every decision that contradicts your principles erodes your integrity a little more. You find yourself on a slippery slope where each compromise makes the next one easier, gradually distancing you from who you truly are. Similarly, in personal relationships, being surrounded by people who not only ignore your values, but also encourage behaviors contrary to them, can erode your self-esteem and provoke continuous internal conflict. This erosion of your identity can be incredibly damaging and deeply disturbing. The Stoics teach us the importance of living according to our principles and virtues. They believed that true happiness comes from aligning our actions with our deepest beliefs. This philosophy is not just a lofty ideal, but a practical guide for everyday life. By living consistently with our values, we cultivate inner peace and alignment that are essential for our overall well-being. In situations where your values are at stake, the Stoics would advise re-evaluating and, if necessary, walking away to preserve your integrity. This act of walking away is not a sign of weakness, but an affirmation of strength and self-respect. It shows that you are committed to living authentically and that you prioritize your principles over convenience or external approval. It is a powerful statement, both to yourself and to others, that you value your integrity over superficial benefits you might gain by compromising your values. Furthermore, choosing companions and environments that reinforce rather than compromise your values is vital. The people we spend time with can greatly influence our character and well-being. The Stoics advise choosing our companions wisely, suggesting that surrounding ourselves with people who share and support our core values is essential to maintaining our integrity. For those who face challenges in maintaining their values in difficult environments, it is crucial to establish and clearly communicate boundaries. This might mean having open conversations about your values at work or at home, and being willing to stand up for those principles when they are threatened. It is also helpful to identify and manage external influences that might tempt you to compromise your values, whether it is peer pressure or cultural or corporate expectations. Creating and fostering an environment where shared values are the norm also benefits everyone. This not only strengthens your personal resolve, but also promotes a network of mutual support. Such an environment improves not only individual quality of life, but also strengthens the community as a whole. Cultivating a sense of integrity and living in accordance with your values is not just a key component of a Stoic life, but fundamental for any full and satisfying life. By making decisions that reflect your principles, you build a solid foundation of self-respect and confidence. This makes you a person others can trust and depend on, not because you always do what is easy, but because you consistently do what is right. Ultimately, living in accordance with your values allows you to not only achieve true happiness and fulfillment, but also inspire others to live authentically. This is the essence of a well-lived Stoic life, a life where integrity and authenticity are celebrated and held in high esteem. Number 5. When you are no longer learning or growing. When we stop learning and growing, we begin to feel stagnant and unfulfilled, as if we are trapped in a routine where each day feels like a monotonous repetition of the previous one. This stagnation can occur in your career, personal life, or hobbies. Imagine a job that once was challenging and exciting, full of opportunities to learn new skills and advance. Now you feel like you are just going through the motions, with no new challenges, no room for advancement, and no excitement. This lack of growth can lead to a deep sense of dissatisfaction and boredom. In our personal relationships, the absence of growth can also be a significant issue. Relationships, whether friendships or romantic relationships, should be dynamic and evolving, helping both partners grow and become better versions of themselves. If you find that your relationships have become stagnant, where interactions feel repetitive and lack inspiration, it might be time to reevaluate. The same goes for your personal interests and hobbies. If a hobby that once brought you joy and excitement now feels boring and routine, it is a sign that you need to seek new avenues for growth and learning. The Stoics valued the pursuit of knowledge and personal development, and would encourage us to continually seek experiences that challenge and inspire us. Commitment to continuous learning and improvement can enhance both our professional and personal lives, contributing to our overall well-being. Recognizing our potential and refusing to settle for less than we deserve is crucial. Evaluating and making the decision to walk away from situations where we are no longer learning or growing is an act of self-care and wisdom. By setting clear personal and professional development goals and actively seeking opportunities to achieve them, we maintain continuous growth. It is important to conduct regular self-evaluations to ensure we are constantly being challenged and advancing. For those who face challenges in maintaining their growth in difficult environments, it is crucial to establish and clearly communicate boundaries. This might mean having open conversations about your growth needs at work or at home, and being willing to stand up for those principles when they are compromised. Creating and maintaining an environment that supports personal and professional growth is also vital. Whether at home or work, promoting an atmosphere where learning and continuous improvement are the norm can make a big difference. A supportive environment can facilitate overcoming challenges and promote a cycle of mutual learning and development. Surrounding ourselves with a community that fosters and reinforces our core values is essential to maintaining our integrity and continuing to grow. Cultivating a sense of continuous growth is not just a preventive measure against stagnation. It is fundamental for a full and meaningful life. By making decisions that reflect our principles of continuous growth, we build a solid foundation of self-respect and confidence. This makes us people others can trust and depend on, not only because we do what is easy, but because we consistently do what is right. Ultimately, living a life aligned with our desires to learn and grow allows us to achieve true happiness and fulfillment and inspire others to pursue a life of continuous development. This is the essence of a well-lived life, where constant improvement and authenticity are celebrated and held in high esteem. Number 6. When you stay in one place out of guilt or obligation. Staying in a situation solely out of guilt or a sense of obligation can be incredibly draining and unfulfilling. It is common to feel compelled to stay in jobs, relationships, or commitments simply because we feel guilty about leaving them or believe it is our duty to stay. However, when guilt or obligation becomes the primary reasons for staying, it is a clear sign that it is time to reevaluate the situation. Imagine a job where you feel obligated to stay because you do not want to disappoint your colleagues or fear others' judgment. Maybe the job no longer brings you joy or aligns with your professional goals, but the idea of leaving fills you with guilt. You might worry about the additional workload your departure might cause your team or fear disappointing your boss. However, staying in a role that no longer serves you simply out of a sense of duty can lead to resentment and burnout. The Stoics teach us to live according to our true nature and to act from a place of genuine intention, not from external pressures or misplaced guilt. In personal relationships, guilt and obligation can be even more powerful. You might find yourself staying in a friendship or romantic relationship because you feel responsible for the other person's happiness or because you have been together for a long time. You might worry that leaving will hurt the other person or feel that you owe it to them to stay. However, if the relationship is no longer healthy or fulfilling for you, staying out of obligation is not fair to either party. Genuine relationships are built on mutual respect and voluntary commitment, not on guilt or a sense of duty. It is important to act with integrity and honesty, both to yourself and to others. Walking away from situations where you stay only out of guilt or obligation is an act of self-respect and authenticity. Recognizing that your time and energy are valuable and that you deserve to spend them in ways that are meaningful and fulfilling to you is crucial. The Stoics teach us to focus on what we can control, our actions and decisions, and to let go of what we cannot control, such as others' reactions. By prioritizing your well-being and making decisions based on your true desires and values, you are living in accordance with Stoic principles. Imagine the freedom and empowerment that come from making decisions that align with your true self. By letting go of guilt and obligation, you open space in your life for opportunities and relationships that truly resonate with you. This change can lead to greater happiness, fulfillment, and personal growth. The Stoics believe that living a virtuous life involves making decisions that reflect your core values and pursuing what truly matters to you, rather than being driven by external pressures. It is important to recognize that leaving a situation out of guilt or obligation can be challenging. There may be initial discomfort and difficult conversations. However, ultimately, it is a step toward a more authentic and fulfilling life. The Stoics would encourage you to approach this process with courage and wisdom, understanding that true contentment comes from living in harmony with your internal principles. By making decisions that honor your true self, you cultivate a sense of inner peace and integrity. You have now reached the halfway mark of the video. I congratulate you for trying to become a better version of yourself, and I also humbly ask you to leave a comment, as it helps my channel immensely. If you do not know what to comment, just write "mind over body" so I know you reached this far. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Also, I've linked some books on Stoicism that helped me become the man I am today and will also help you achieve a Stoic mindset. Number 7. When trust is broken. When trust, the foundation of all meaningful relationships, is severely broken, the impact can be devastating. This can happen in friendships, romantic relationships, or professional connections. Imagine discovering that a close friend has been spreading false rumors about you, or that your partner has been unfaithful. These forms of betrayal not only hurt in the moment, but fundamentally alter the dynamics of the relationship, making it difficult, if not impossible, to continue interacting with the same level of openness and vulnerability. In a professional setting, a serious breach of trust could involve a colleague taking credit for your work, or a superior making false promises. These actions can not only undermine your confidence, but also create a toxic work environment. When you can no longer trust the people you work with, it becomes a challenge to stay motivated and engaged. Stoic philosophy teaches us that we must act with honor and integrity, regardless of others' actions. If trust is broken in a way that compromises your ability to perform your job effectively and ethically, it might be time to consider walking away. The Stoics emphasize the importance of honesty and integrity, teaching us that our character is defined by our actions and the trust we build with others. When trust is broken, it is a sign that something fundamental has changed in the relationship. Marcus Aurelius teaches us that we must accept the reality of the world and others' actions, but we must also take steps to protect our inner peace and integrity. Staying in a situation where trust has been compromised can have long-term effects on your mental health. Constant doubt and anxiety can take a toll, leaving you constantly questioning others' actions and motives, which can be exhausting and debilitating. Seneca, another prominent Stoic philosopher, taught that we should not sacrifice our mental peace to maintain a relationship that no longer serves us. Imagine the relief and empowerment that come from leaving a situation where trust has been broken. By walking away, you open the possibility of forming new, healthier relationships built on mutual respect and trust. You send a powerful message to yourself and others about your self-worth and the standards you expect in your interactions. The Stoics believed in living a life of virtue and authenticity, and part of that is surrounding yourself with people who uphold those same values. It is important to recognize that walking away from a breach of trust can be incredibly challenging. It may involve difficult conversations and the loss of a relationship that once meant a lot to you. However, it is crucial to remember that your well-being and integrity are paramount. The Stoics teach us to face such challenges with courage and wisdom, understanding that sometimes the most virtuous path is also the most difficult. By making decisions that honor your true self, you cultivate a sense of inner peace and integrity. This act of courage and honesty can inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect of positive change. Prioritizing your own integrity and mental peace over staying in a harmful situation is not just a necessary action. It is an affirmation of your commitment to living a full and meaningful life. Number 8. When you have lost your essence. Losing oneself can be one of the most disorienting and painful experiences one can face. Often this happens gradually as we prioritize the needs and expectations of others over our own. There may come a day when you look in the mirror and do not recognize the person looking back at you. This phenomenon can happen in various aspects of life, in relationships, careers, or social circles, leaving you with a sense of emptiness and disconnection that is deeply disturbing. Stoic philosophy reminds us of the importance of knowing ourselves and living in alignment with our true nature. When you lose sight of who you are, it is a clear sign that something fundamental needs to change. In relationships, for example, you may find yourself constantly compromising your own desires and values to keep the peace or please your partner. Over time, you may discover that you have molded yourself to meet someone else's expectations, neglecting your own identity in the process. This can lead to a profound sense of loss and confusion. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor, reminds us that we should not allow our lives to be governed by others' expectations, but should remain true to our own principles and nature. In your career, losing yourself can occur when you are so focused on climbing the corporate ladder or meeting external definitions of success that you forget why you started in the first place. You might find yourself in a role that looks impressive on paper, but leaves you feeling unfulfilled and disconnected from your passions. The Stoics would encourage you to reflect on what truly matters to you and ensure that your work aligns with your values and interests. It is crucial to seek roles and environments that allow you to be your true self and contribute meaningfully. In social circles and friendships, you can also lose your sense of identity if you surround yourself with people whose values and lifestyles do not resonate with you. It is easy to start conforming to fit in, which over time can erode your sense of identity. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, advised that we should seek friendships based on mutual respect and shared values, as these relationships help us grow and remain true to who we are. Walking away from situations where you have lost your essence is an act of courage and self-discovery. It is about reclaiming your identity and living in alignment with your true nature. This process of rediscovery allows you to reconnect with your passions, values, and the things that bring you joy. Imagine the freedom and fulfillment that come from living authentically. When you let go of the need to conform and embrace your true self, you experience a sense of liberation. You begin to attract relationships and opportunities that are in tune with who you truly are. This authenticity not only enhances your well-being, but also positively impacts those around you. Living according to your true nature is essential for a virtuous and satisfying life. Recognizing that reclaiming yourself can be a challenging process that may involve difficult decisions, and leaving behind people or situations that once felt comfortable is crucial. However, it is a necessary step towards a life that truly reflects your values and passions. The Stoics would encourage you to approach this journey with courage and compassion for yourself, understanding that true contentment comes from living in harmony with your inner self. By making decisions that honor your true being, you cultivate a sense of inner peace and integrity. Number 9. When you have done everything possible, but it is not enough. Reaching a point where you feel like you have done everything possible and still see no progress or positive change can be incredibly disheartening. This feeling of exhaustion arises when, despite all your efforts, the situation remains unchanged. This type of experience can manifest in various areas of life, such as personal relationships, professional careers, or personal projects. The Stoics teach us to focus on what we can control and to accept what we cannot. When you have given your all and the outcome has not changed, it is time to recognize that this is not a reflection of your worth or effort, but rather a sign that it is time to move on. In personal relationships, for example, you may have tried every possible way to communicate, repair, and make things work. You have been patient, empathetic, and put a lot of effort into resolving conflicts. But despite your best efforts, the relationship remains unsatisfactory or even toxic. This emotional and mental drain can be incredibly exhausting. The Stoics remind us that our responsibility lies in our own actions and intentions, not in others' actions or responses. If your efforts are not reciprocated or recognized, it is a clear indication that continuing in the same situation might cause more harm than good in your professional life. There might be a project or a job role where you have invested a significant amount of time and energy. You have implemented new strategies, worked extra hours, and dedicated yourself completely to improving things. But the results do not meet your expectations, and there are no signs of improvement. This can lead to frustration and burnout, indicating that it might be time to objectively evaluate the situation. If necessary, it might be time to seek new opportunities, or even walk away completely to protect your well-being and professional growth. Personal projects and goals can also reach a deadlock where, despite all the effort and dedication, progress seems impossible. This could be a creative endeavor, a fitness goal, or any other personal aspiration. In these moments, it is easy to fall into a pattern of overthinking and self-doubt. However, The Stoics would advise reflecting on what you have learned from the process, appreciating your efforts, and understanding that not every endeavor is destined to succeed. Sometimes wisdom lies in recognizing the right moment to let go and redirect your energy towards more fruitful activities. Walking away after having done everything possible is not a sign of failure, but an act of self-respect and wisdom. It is understanding the limits of your influence and making peace with what is beyond your control. The Stoics value the importance of focusing on what truly matters and letting go of what does not. By walking away from situations that no longer serve you, you create space for new opportunities and experiences that align more closely with your goals and values. Imagine the relief and liberation that come from recognizing that you have done all you could. By letting go, you free yourself from the cycle of frustration and disappointment. This act of moving forward opens possibilities for growth, learning, and new beginnings. Life is a series of opportunities for growth, and sometimes growing means knowing when it is time to walk away. It is crucial to approach this decision with compassion for yourself and understanding, knowing that walking away does not diminish the value of your efforts or the significance of what you tried to achieve. Instead, it is an affirmation of your commitment to living authentically and purposefully. The Stoics would encourage you to see this as part of your journey, a step towards new paths that may offer greater fulfillment and success. In the journey of life, knowing when to walk away is a profound act of courage and self-respect. It is valuing your peace, integrity, and growth above all else. Remember, every step you take towards living authentically is a step towards a fuller and more meaningful life. Number 10. When the passion has been lost. Losing passion in any area of life, be it your career, a relationship, or a hobby, is like watching a flame that once illuminated your path slowly extinguish. This fading of passion not only diminishes the vibrant sense of purpose in our lives, but also leaves us feeling disoriented and unmotivated, wandering through our daily routines without a clear sense of direction. According to the Stoics, facing these kinds of challenges is fundamental to character development and self-understanding. They remind us that we must be in constant pursuit of alignment with our true nature and purposes. In the professional context, perhaps you began your career full of enthusiasm and clear goals, but over time, routine tasks have taken over, leaving little room for innovation or personal satisfaction. This is a clear sign that your passion for your work has faded. The Stoics would teach us that this is the optimal moment for deep personal reflection, to reevaluate our true motivations and aspirations. In relationships, both romantic and friendly, passion can manifest as intense emotional commitment and a continuous desire for mutual growth. If you find that interactions have become obligatory or superficial, it is vital to question whether the relationship has lost the vitality that once nourished your soul. The Stoics value authenticity and meaningful interaction and encourage us to consider whether these relationships still resonate with our deepest values. Even hobbies, sources of joy and relaxation, can lose their charm and become mundane tasks if they no longer challenge or enrich us. Here, Stoic philosophy invites us to recognize these moments not as failures, but as natural signals that our interests and needs are evolving. To rediscover lost passion, the Stoics would advise returning to the fundamentals of our being. What do we truly value? What activities resonate with our essence? We can start by setting new goals that reflect our current interests, seeking new experiences that spark our curiosity, or even changing our environment to break the monotony and revitalize our spirit. Additionally, continuous education is crucial. learning new skills or delving into areas of knowledge can reignite our passion. This approach is not only a form of self-improvement, but also a way to align our lives with the Stoic principles of growth and authenticity. Finally, the Stoics remind us of the importance of integrity and authenticity in all our endeavors. Losing passion is, in a way, a call to examine how our actions reflect our deepest values. By making conscious decisions to realign our lives with these values, we not only recover our lost passion, but also strengthen our character and foster a more meaningful and fulfilled life. Approaching the loss of passion with a Stoic perspective not only facilitates a transition to activities that resonate more deeply with us, but also prepares us to live more fully and authentically. By facing these challenges with courage and wisdom, we not only navigate our days with greater purpose, but also lay the foundation for a future where every action and choice is deeply aligned with what we value most. Number 11. When your contributions are unsustainable. When our contributions begin to feel unsustainable, whether at work, in personal relationships, or even in community activities, we face a dilemma that can drain our energy and wear down our spirit. Stoic philosophy offers us a valuable perspective in these moments, emphasizing the importance of recognizing our limits and reevaluating our capabilities. Remember that while dedication is admirable, it should not lead us to burnout or compromise our long-term health and well-being. In the workplace, this might manifest as taking on excessive workloads, overly ambitious projects, or responsibilities that exceed our hours and energy. This type of commitment, though initially seeming like a path to recognition and success, often leads to burnout that is not only physical, but also emotional and mental. The Stoics would teach us to act wisely, recognizing when our contributions have exceeded a healthy threshold and when it is time to set more realistic limits or say no. In personal or family relationships, unsustainability can arise when we continually sacrifice our needs to meet others' expectations. This can be as simple as constantly committing to activities we do not enjoy or taking on responsibilities that are not equitably shared. The Stoics would urge us to consider how these patterns not only affect our personal happiness, but also create unbalanced relationships that are not sustainable in the long run. To address the unsustainability of our contributions, the Stoics would recommend a meditated approach that includes self-evaluation and radical honesty with oneself and others. This involves recognizing and communicating our limitations, as well as redefining our priorities in ways that respect our energy and capacity. At work, this might mean delegating tasks, discussing workloads openly with superiors, or even changing career direction if necessary to align better with a more balanced lifestyle. Additionally, cultivating resilience and self-care is vital. The Stoics emphasize internal strength that not only meets external demands, but also ensures we have the personal resources to face challenges. This includes practices like meditation, regular exercise, and conscious rest times that not only help us recharge, but also allow us to maintain a clear perspective on our activities and commitments. Reflecting on the unsustainability of our contributions is fundamental not only for our personal well-being, but also to ensure that what we give to the world is valuable and supported by a solid foundation of self-care and self-respect. By adopting the Stoic mindset of self-control and acceptance, we can reorient our energies more effectively and sustainably, ultimately leading to greater efficiency and satisfaction in all areas of life. Recognizing and adjusting the sustainability of our contributions is an act of wisdom and respect towards ourselves and others, which is essential for living a life in accordance with the Stoic ideals of virtue and balance. Number 12. When the environment hinders your personal growth. Facing an environment that hinders our personal growth is one of the most challenging situations we can experience. According to Stoic philosophy, each individual should continuously seek self-improvement, not only as an act of self-fulfillment, but also as a duty to society. An environment that obstructs this growth not only limits our ability to develop as individuals, but also prevents us from contributing effectively to the world around us. Often these environments can be found in workplaces that neither promote nor value personal development, relationships that keep us trapped in cycles of dependency or conformity, or even social settings that discourage innovation and authenticity. The Stoics teach us that we must have the courage to change the things within our control and the wisdom to recognize when a situation is no longer conducive to our personal growth. The first step in facing this challenge is to clearly identify how the environment is limiting our growth. This might involve reflecting on the lack of opportunities to learn new skills, the absence of challenges that stimulate our mind and spirit, or a general atmosphere that discourages personal expression and exploration of new ideas. The Stoics would encourage us to face these issues with honesty and courage, using reason to discern the nature of these obstacles and plan effective strategies to overcome them, or if necessary, walk away from them. To mitigate the effects of a restrictive environment, it is essential to actively seek communities and spaces that foster and support personal growth. This might mean looking for new groups, engaging in activities that reflect our true interests and passions, or even changing job environments to one that values and cultivates human potential. Additionally, the Stoics practice self-discipline as a way to strengthen character and ensure that one is not overly dependent or susceptible to external influences. Developing a regular practice of personal reflection, such as meditation or journaling, can help maintain a connection with our values and fundamental goals, allowing us to stay centered and motivated even when the external environment is less than ideal. Finally, it is crucial to adopt a long-term perspective. Stoic philosophy reminds us that obstacles are an opportunity to practice virtues such as patience, perseverance, and adaptability. Facing and eventually overcoming environments that limit our personal growth not only testifies to our commitment to self-improvement, but also reinforces our character and prepares us for future challenges. In summary, while a restrictive environment can be a significant obstacle, Stoic principles provide a robust framework for understanding and overcoming these challenges. By focusing on what we can control, actively seeking more conducive environments for our growth, and developing resilience and self-discipline, we can ensure that we continue to grow and contribute to the world in a meaningful way, true to Stoic wisdom. Final lesson: steps towards change, a practical guide for personal transformation. When you face an environment that limits your growth, it is essential to implement changes strategically and thoughtfully, following a plan that reflects the principles of Stoic philosophy, which values self-awareness, self-discipline, and rational action. Start by evaluating your current situation. Take time to reflect on whether you feel stagnant or if your daily activities bring you satisfaction and a sense of accomplishment, using tools like journaling or meditation to delve deeper into your thoughts and emotions. Additionally, seek feedback from trusted friends, family, or mentors who can offer external perspectives you may not have considered, and analyze your current environment, identifying what factors are hindering your personal growth, such as the lack of challenges or a culture that does not align with your values. Then, identify your values and goals clearly to determine what changes are necessary to align your environment with your aspirations. Prioritizing changes that will have the greatest impact on your growth and setting specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals for each change you want to implement. Develop a detailed action plan for each change, including specific steps, necessary resources, and a timeline. Integrate habits that foster physical and mental well-being, such as regular exercise, a balanced diet, and mindfulness practices to enhance your ability to manage stress and build resilience, and seek support from a network that shares your values and motivates you to move forward. Finally, regularly monitor your progress towards your goals, allowing yourself to make necessary adjustments based on what works and what does not, and be flexible and willing to make changes to your plan according to the results and feedback you receive. Celebrate your achievements, no matter how small, to boost your motivation and reinforce your commitment to continuous personal growth. Implementing changes following these steps will not only help you overcome a restrictive environment, but also empower you to live a life more aligned with your values and aspirations, maintaining the resilience and inner peace that the Stoics deeply value. As we close this exploration of the crucial moments where walking away can transform our lives, I hope the reflections and advice shared have inspired you to consider more deeply how and when to make significant changes in your life. Remember, Stoicism is not just about enduring adversities. It is also a guide for recognizing when a situation no longer contributes to our growth and well-being. I hope this video has provided you with the tools and courage to make those difficult but necessary changes, and that you feel more empowered to align your life with your truest values. Now, if any part of this message has been helpful to you, leave us your like and comment, helping the algorithm recommend it to someone who needs it at this time. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss new videos. And if you look through the videos we've already uploaded, you're sure to find something to take with you. Have a good day. Have you ever felt disrespected, as if someone else's harsh words or dismissive actions had the power to shake your entire sense of self-worth? For many, disrespect triggers feelings of frustration, anger, and defensiveness. But what if there were a way to respond that not only protected your inner peace, but also showcased a strength that no amount of disrespect could diminish? Today, we're diving deep into the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophy centered on mastering our emotions and reactions to the world around us. By embracing 10 powerful techniques rooted in the teachings of Stoic thinkers and fortified by insights from other philosophical traditions, you can transform your approach to disrespect. Not only will these strategies fortify your mind, but they will also elevate your confidence, inner calm, and overall resilience. These techniques have been practiced by the wisest of minds, allowing them to face criticism, offense, and even direct hostility with unwavering composure. Through this journey, we'll explore practical ways to embrace calm reflection, reframe our perspective, separate ego from identity, and more. Let's explore how true strength is forged in the fires of adversity, and how you, too, can embody the virtues of a resilient, unshakable soul. Now, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, make sure to like the video and hit that subscribe button. Only 15% of my audience is currently subscribed, so if these insights resonate with you, I'd love for you to join our community and turn on the notification bell to stay updated. Technique number 1. Pause and reflect before reacting. As we dive into the first technique, picture this scenario. Someone throws a sharp, cutting remark your way. Maybe it's at work, at home, or even from a stranger. The immediate response, our instinct, is often to retaliate or to defend ourselves. But what if instead you paused? What if, in that moment, you could simply breathe, creating a gap between the disrespect and your response? This technique, known as pause and reflect, is about embracing the power of a moment's hesitation. It's a concept emphasized by the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius, who taught that every instance of provocation is also an opportunity to practice patience and self-control. Now let's talk about why intelligent, composed people apply this approach. Pausing before reacting isn't about avoiding confrontation or suppressing feelings. It's about ensuring that our response is thoughtful rather than impulsive. When we react instantly, we're often giving control to the person who disrespected us. But by pausing, we reclaim our power. We show that we're not easily rattled, and that our sense of self is not dictated by others' words or actions. Imagine you're in a meeting, and a colleague dismissively questions your abilities. Instead of snapping back or getting defensive, you take a breath, mentally stepping back. You consider their words not as an attack, but as an opportunity to calmly assert yourself, if necessary, or to let it pass without taking it personally. This pause allows you to process the situation objectively, keeping your self-worth intact. Applying this approach in daily life can begin with something as simple as counting to 10. It might sound basic, but in the heat of the moment, those few seconds can make all the difference. Another way to pause is to take a physical step back, as if you're observing the situation from the outside, watching yourself respond. Practicing this technique consistently builds a habit of thoughtful responses, even in tense situations. This technique of pause and reflect aligns deeply with Stoic thought, as well as with Eastern philosophies like Buddhism. The Buddhists teach that emotions are fleeting and don't define us, encouraging us to observe rather than become attached to them. Similarly, Stoicism promotes self-awareness and the understanding that external events, including others' opinions, should not dictate our peace of mind. By integrating this practice into your life, you're training yourself to approach disrespect from a place of calmness and composure. Each time you pause and reflect, you're making a statement to yourself and to others. I am in control of my reactions, and I choose not to let disrespect shake my sense of self. Technique number 2, reframe the situation. For the second technique, let's explore the powerful art of reframing. In the face of disrespect, it's easy to interpret words or actions as personal attacks. But what if we could view these moments differently, seeing them not as threats, but as opportunities for growth and resilience? Reframing, a core Stoic practice, is the ability to view situations through a lens that empowers rather than diminishes us. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By changing our perspective on disrespect, we shift the power dynamic, refusing to let someone's words or actions control our emotions. Intelligent individuals understand that not every criticism or insult deserves validation. Reframing enables them to see beyond the surface of disrespect, interpreting it as a reflection of the other person's state rather than their own. It's about building a shield of resilience, where you decide what deserves your attention and what simply doesn't matter. Let's say you're at a family gathering, and a relative makes a rude comment about your career choice. Instead of internalizing their words, you might reframe the situation by considering that they're projecting their own insecurities or limitations, or you might see it as an opportunity to reaffirm your confidence and pride in your choices, knowing that they don't define you. Reframing is about choosing a narrative that uplifts you, rather than one that diminishes you. One practical exercise for reframing involves asking yourself a few guiding questions when faced with disrespect. What could this person's behavior be saying about them? Is there a possibility they're going through something that has nothing to do with me? How can I view this moment as an opportunity to grow stronger in my self-worth? Asking these questions can help you detach from the immediate sting of disrespect, letting you rise above the negativity. Another technique is to think of the situation as if you were an outsider watching it. Would you tell someone else to feel insulted, or would you advise them to see beyond the disrespect? By stepping outside of your own experience, you're often able to see things more clearly, recognizing that others' words don't have to hold power over you. Reframing connects closely with Buddhist teachings on detachment and Stoic ideas of perception. Buddhism encourages us to let go of the ego, which often reacts defensively to perceived slights. Meanwhile, Stoicism teaches that we are responsible for our interpretations of events, not the events themselves. By choosing to reframe, we're aligning with both philosophies, embracing a strength that comes from within rather than being swayed by external judgments. A technique. 3. Separate ego from identity. Moving on to the third technique, we encounter one of the most profound lessons of Stoicism, the ability to separate ego from identity. In the face of disrespect, it's often the ego that feels bruised, that part of us which craves validation and resists criticism. But if we can learn to detach our sense of self from the ego's need for approval, we build an identity that isn't easily shaken. The Stoics taught that a person's worth is not defined by others' opinions, but by their own virtues, values, and character. By separating ego from identity, we cultivate an inner citadel, a core sense of self that remains unaffected by external judgments. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, often reminded himself that his identity was rooted in his principles, not in others' approval or disapproval. This technique is especially valuable because it frees us from the roller coaster of others' opinions. Imagine a situation where someone insults your intelligence or belittles your achievements. If your identity is rooted in your ego, you might react defensively, feeling the need to prove your worth. But if your sense of self is anchored in your core values, you recognize that this insult doesn't define you. It's merely a fleeting opinion. People who separate their ego from their identity understand that true strength comes from within. They're not swayed by praise or criticism because their self-worth isn't dependent on others' perceptions. This approach allows them to stay grounded and resilient, even in the face of severe disrespect. By embracing this practice, they cultivate an unshakable sense of self that remains steady regardless of external opinions. Practically speaking, one way to separate ego from identity is through self-reflection exercises. Take some time to journal about your core values, the aspects of your character that define who you are beyond surface achievements or others' approval. This exercise helps you see that your worth is rooted in qualities that are unchangeable, regardless of how people view you. Another method is to use daily affirmations that remind you of your self-worth, such as, "My value is not determined by others' opinions," or "I am defined by my integrity and actions, not by external validation." These affirmations reinforce your connection to your true self, making it easier to brush off disrespectful remarks. Separating ego from identity aligns with Stoic and Confucian philosophies. Stoicism teaches that we are responsible for nurturing our character, independent of others' judgments. Confucianism similarly emphasizes inner integrity, valuing self-respect over outward reputation. By focusing on your inner values, you cultivate an identity that cannot be shaken by superficial disrespect. When you embrace this technique, you're choosing to live a life defined by internal strength, not by the fleeting opinions of others. In doing so, you become resilient to disrespect, holding firm to the understanding that your worth is something only you can define. Boti. Technique. Number 4. Practice compassionate curiosity. Imagine someone speaks to you harshly, perhaps even with disdain. Instead of responding with anger or defensiveness, what if you paused and considered their words with a sense of compassionate curiosity? The idea of compassionate curiosity allows us to approach disrespectful people with empathy rather than hostility. This doesn't mean accepting their behavior or excusing it. Rather, it's a mindset shift, acknowledging that others may act out due to their own struggles, insecurities, or unresolved pain. This approach stems from the Stoic belief in universal empathy and a core understanding that people often project their pain onto others. When intelligent, reflective individuals face disrespect, they understand that everyone's behavior stems from something deeper. Instead of taking insults personally, they view them as possible reflections of the other person's difficulties. This perspective allows them to maintain composure and even kindness, no matter the disrespect they face. Imagine encountering a rude colleague who regularly dismisses your ideas. You might initially feel offended or want to retaliate. But compassionate curiosity would lead you to wonder, is this person struggling with their own work, feeling insecure, or perhaps dealing with personal issues that make them act out? By shifting your perspective, you transform a hostile interaction into a moment of understanding. To apply compassionate curiosity, start by asking yourself questions about the other person's potential struggles. Is there something they may be going through that isn't visible to you? What might they be experiencing emotionally that causes them to act out in this way? These questions aren't about excusing disrespect, but understanding it from a new perspective. Another method is to respond with open-ended, calm questions. For example, if someone criticizes you harshly, respond by saying, "Is there something going on that's affecting you?" Or, "I noticed you seemed upset. Would you like to talk about it?" This can diffuse the situation while also showing that you're not personally threatened by their behavior. Stoicism emphasizes empathy and recognizing that each person's actions are influenced by their inner world. Similarly, Buddhism teaches that everyone's behavior stems from their own struggles, and that by showing compassion, we often diffuse hostility. By approaching disrespect with compassionate curiosity, you elevate the situation and reinforce a calm resilience that keeps your inner peace intact. Technique number 5. Use humor and detachment. Sometimes the best way to disarm disrespect is through a touch of humor and detachment. Humor has a unique power to diffuse tension and turn an insult into something harmless. When you respond with humor, you're showing the world and yourself that disrespect has no power over you. It can be a playful, effective way to brush off negativity. Intelligent, resilient people know that humor is a great defense against negativity. Instead of absorbing hurtful words, they use humor to maintain perspective. Humor isn't about being sarcastic or retaliating with jokes that hurt others. Rather, it's a way to let go of heavy emotions and show that words alone can't harm us. Consider a scenario where someone insults your work in front of a group. Instead of feeling embarrassed or angry, you might respond with, "Guess I've finally made it, if people are this interested in my work." By humorously acknowledging the insult, you diffuse the tension and show that their opinion doesn't affect your sense of self-worth. One approach is to find a light-hearted response that doesn't escalate the situation. For example, if someone criticizes you for a mistake, you might respond, "That's why they keep me around, just to keep things interesting." This isn't about dismissing the feedback, but rather showing that you're not easily shaken. Another technique is to detach from the moment mentally. Imagine the scenario as a scene from a comedy, or as if you're watching it on screen, rather than experiencing it personally. This mental detachment allows you to see the humor in the absurdity of disrespectful interactions. Marcus Aurelius often advised looking at situations with humor and perspective, seeing life's irritations as mere ripples on a pond. The Cynics, another ancient school of thought, practiced extreme detachment, seeing disrespect as irrelevant to their well-being. This blend of humor and detachment not only diffuses conflict, but also builds resilience, showing that you're not bound by the opinions of others. Now, some exciting news. Our channel now offers a 24/7 live stream, streaming Stoic wisdom and insights around the clock. Plus, by joining our members club, you'll unlock exclusive benefits, deeper content dives, and personal insights. Join us on this journey, and let's build a meaningful life together. And I also humbly ask you to leave a comment, as it helps my channel immensely. If you do not know what to comment, just write "better every day" so I know you reached this far. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Also, I've linked some books on Stoicism that helped me become the man I am today, and will also help you achieve a Stoic mindset. Maikan. Technique number 6. Set boundaries firmly. When facing consistent disrespect, setting firm boundaries is essential. While compassionate curiosity and humor have their place, there are times when it's necessary to draw a line. Boundaries are expressions of self-respect, showing others that certain behaviors will not be tolerated. Setting boundaries isn't about confrontation, it's about creating an environment where mutual respect can thrive. Intelligent individuals recognize that without boundaries, disrespect can escalate. By establishing limits, they send a clear message that they value their peace and won't allow others to disrupt it. Boundaries communicate strength, making it clear that you expect respectful interactions. Imagine a situation where a friend frequently interrupts you or speaks to you in a dismissive way. If left unaddressed, this behavior could impact your relationship. By setting a boundary, such as calmly stating, "I feel unheard when I'm interrupted, and I'd appreciate it if we could listen to each other fully," you reinforce respect without escalating the situation. Setting boundaries starts with clear communication. Use I statements to express how certain behaviors affect you. For instance, if a colleague makes rude remarks, you could say, "I work best in a positive environment, and I feel less motivated when there's negativity." This approach is respectful but assertive, showing that you expect a change in behavior. Another boundary-setting technique is the broken record approach. If someone repeatedly disrespects your boundary, calmly and consistently restate your position without escalating. This shows that you're unwavering and serious about maintaining your limits. Stoicism teaches the importance of inner peace and self-respect, which boundaries help protect. Confucianism also emphasizes respect and appropriate conduct, encouraging individuals to uphold dignity in all interactions. By setting boundaries, you reinforce these values, showing that you won't compromise your well-being for the sake of tolerating disrespect. Technique number 7. Practice indifference to insults. The 7th technique is one of the cornerstones of Stoic thought, practicing indifference to insults. The Stoics teach that our peace of mind shouldn't be disrupted by things beyond our control, including others' opinions or judgments. Insults, no matter how harsh, are ultimately powerless unless we grant them meaning. By practicing indifference, you're choosing not to give disrespect any weight. Those who cultivate emotional intelligence understand that engaging with insults often gives the insulter more power. When you practice indifference, you're signaling that others' judgments are not relevant to your self-worth. This approach requires mental discipline, but it liberates you from the emotional highs and lows of others' opinions. Consider a scenario where someone criticizes your appearance or lifestyle. By practicing indifference, you acknowledge the comment but recognize that it has no bearing on your intrinsic value. Instead of reacting defensively or feeling hurt, you might even respond with a neutral, "I appreciate your perspective," before moving on. Practicing indifference starts with recognizing what's within your control. You can't control others' words, but you can control your reaction. Begin by mentally reminding yourself, "This comment doesn't define me." With practice, you'll find that insults lose their sting. Another approach is to visualize the comment as a passing cloud in the sky. It's there briefly, but it moves on without affecting the vastness of your inner self. This visualization reinforces that others' opinions are fleeting and that your peace of mind remains grounded in something far more substantial. The concept of apatheia, or freedom from passion, is central to Stoic thought. By cultivating apatheia, you're training yourself to rise above emotional reactions to others' opinions. Taoism similarly emphasizes acceptance, encouraging individuals to let go of attachments to external judgments. Practicing indifference to insults is about embracing inner stability, ensuring that others' words don't dictate your emotional state. Technique. Trait. Reflect on the bigger picture. When dealing with disrespect, it's easy to become consumed by the moment, letting anger or frustration take over. But what if we step back and take a broader view? Reflecting on the bigger picture shifts our focus from momentary offenses to long-term goals and values, reminding us of what truly matters. In life, disrespect is often a fleeting irritation, like a stone thrown into a river. While it creates a ripple, the river itself is vast, flowing on unaffected. The bigger picture approach encourages us to see disrespect as a minor moment within a much larger journey, allowing us to release grudges and focus on our deeper values and goals. Wise individuals understand that dwelling on disrespectful encounters can drain time and energy better spent on personal growth. By focusing on what truly matters, they keep their energy directed toward positive pursuits, refusing to let minor incidents derail their path. For instance, consider a disagreement at work where a colleague questions your abilities publicly. Instead of allowing this one moment to influence your self-esteem or ruin your day, try to step back and ask, "Does this really impact my long-term goals?" By keeping the broader perspective, you reinforce your resilience and can use your energy more productively. In practice, this technique starts with mindfulness. When confronted with disrespect, take a few moments to step back mentally and ask, "Will this matter a week from now, a month, a year?" This exercise provides immediate relief by helping you see the event as temporary. Another strategy is to keep a journal of your long-term goals and values. By regularly reviewing what truly matters to you, you reinforce your commitment to those priorities over daily irritations. This habit builds a big-picture mindset, allowing you to handle disrespect with greater ease and clarity. The Stoics often emphasized the cosmic perspective, reminding themselves of their place in the universe. Marcus Aurelius advised contemplating how insignificant each person's life is within the grand scheme. Buddhism similarly encourages focusing on impermanence, viewing life's challenges as brief moments that pass with time. By focusing on the bigger picture, you harness resilience against life's irritations, recognizing that even the most unpleasant encounters are fleeting in the face of eternity. Technique. Number 9. Take constructive criticism, disregard the rest. Not all criticism is created equal. While some comments can be helpful, others are simply disrespectful. Learning to discern between constructive feedback and meaningless jabs is a vital skill. This technique involves filtering out valuable insights for growth while discarding harmful, unhelpful remarks. The wisdom here lies in recognizing that criticism, especially harsh or rude criticism, may sometimes hold a kernel of truth that can benefit us. However, we need to separate these insights from the disrespectful tone or intent, maintaining our focus on self-improvement without being weighed down by negativity. Intelligent individuals are open to growth and willing to improve themselves, but they don't allow negative or unhelpful comments to shake their self-worth. By applying this filter, they take what they need from criticism and leave the rest behind, ensuring that they continue to grow without sacrificing their self-respect. Imagine a manager who criticizes your presentation style in a dismissive way, implying you're not good at public speaking. While the criticism feels hurtful, there could be a nugget of truth about areas for improvement. Instead of internalizing the disrespect, focus on the constructive part of the feedback, deciding if there's any aspect of your presentation that could be enhanced. This approach allows you to learn without letting others' negativity shape your self-image. Start by pausing when you receive criticism, especially if it feels harsh. Try to separate the message from the delivery, identifying any helpful feedback that can support your personal or professional growth. Mentally acknowledge any part of the comment that isn't constructive and make the conscious choice to disregard it. Another technique is to seek a second opinion. If you're unsure whether feedback is constructive or just rude, ask a trusted friend or colleague for their perspective. They can provide clarity, helping you decide what's worth focusing on and what should be discarded. The Stoics believed in openness to growth and improvement. Epictetus encouraged welcoming feedback as a way to see oneself more clearly, yet he also taught that we shouldn't let others' judgments define us. Confucianism values self-cultivation, urging us to listen to others' wisdom, but to dismiss irrelevant negativity. By applying this filter to criticism, we strengthen our capacity for growth while shielding our self-worth from harmful opinions. Technique number 10. Choose silence and walk away when necessary. Sometimes the wisest response to disrespect is silence. There's a certain power in choosing not to engage, especially when someone's intent is to provoke or belittle. Walking away, in this context, isn't a sign of weakness, but a display of self-control and inner strength. When we choose silence, we're refusing to give others control over our emotions. By not engaging, we avoid escalating conflict and remain centered, reinforcing our resilience. This technique is grounded in the understanding that silence, in many cases, speaks louder than words. Intelligent individuals recognize that some battles aren't worth fighting. They understand that engaging with a disrespectful person often serves to empower the other's negativity. By choosing silence, they demonstrate their own maturity, showing that they won't be dragged down by pettiness or provocation. Imagine a situation where a family member tries to start an argument over a sensitive topic. Instead of getting drawn into a heated debate, silence allows you to maintain your peace, showing that you're not willing to waste energy on a pointless conflict. Walking away may feel difficult initially, but it preserves your well-being. One approach is to develop a few phrases that signal you're choosing not to engage. Phrases like, "I don't wish to continue this conversation," or "Let's agree to disagree," allow you to maintain dignity while asserting your boundaries. Alternatively, a simple nod or smile can convey that you're unaffected, allowing you to exit the conversation without escalating tension. Another method is to practice mindful breathing during tense moments. Focus on your breath, allowing it to ground you. This simple practice reinforces your ability to stay calm and prevents you from reacting emotionally. The Stoics viewed silence as a form of wisdom. They taught that often silence is the best answer to trivial provocations. Buddhism also values non-attachment and silence, especially when it comes to meaningless disputes. By embracing silence, you're exercising restraint, refusing to let others dictate your reactions. This approach cultivates a deeper resilience, proving that you are in control of your own peace. In our journey through these 10 techniques, we've explored the power of Stoic resilience and practical ways to handle disrespect. From the wisdom of pausing before reacting, reframing negative situations, and setting boundaries, each technique provides a unique way to transform difficult encounters into moments of personal growth. By practicing these techniques regularly, you're not only protecting your peace, but building a strength that runs deeper than any insult or criticism. Stoicism teaches us that our true power lies in mastering ourselves, and with these approaches, you're well equipped to handle life's challenges with poise and integrity. Whether it's responding with compassionate curiosity, using humor, focusing on the bigger picture, or simply walking away, each technique brings you closer to inner peace and personal strength. Remember, how you respond to disrespect defines not only the situation, but also reinforces your own values and sense of self. Thank you for joining me on this journey of exploration and reflection. I hope that the insights shared here have brought you clarity and encouragement, and that you find the courage to let go of what no longer serves you. May your path be filled with wisdom, resilience, and the quiet strength that Stoic philosophy inspires. If you found this journey helpful, please consider sharing your thoughts in the comments below, and don't hesitate to reach out to others who may benefit from these teachings. And remember, the journey of self-discovery is a lifelong pursuit, one that is as rewarding as it is challenging.